Hey everybody, KC here. So there was an interesting piece on the Wall Street Journal the other day that carried the headline, "The Incredible Disappearing Hotel Breakfast." The thrust of the piece is that a lot of hotels, especially in the chains, what they're doing is they're reducing their services, although it's not entirely clear whether it's because of COVID restrictions or simply because they have lack of staff. And it's also kind of inconsistent. Like in some hotel chains, if you're a business traveler paying business rates, the breakfast is included. If you're not a business traveler, not so much. Sometimes it says the kitchen is open. Sometimes they're just providing grab and go food. And it's all happening at the time when a lot of hotels are cutting back on other services like housekeeping, right? Because of COVID. That makes an awful lot of sense. But here's the passage from the Wall Street Journal story that really caught my attention. They wrote, 18 months into the pandemic, travelers say they keep encountering misleading and false promises on hotel websites. They complain of finding the elite level lounges, free breakfast, or happy hour receptions with snacks unavailable, even when hotels claim they've been restored. See, that's not good. I think one of the things that companies have to be really careful is that, right, if you promise something, you got to deliver. Otherwise, make sure you're not promising it. There was also an article on a website called Capital in Maine that said, and I quote, "Top executives at Hilton, Marriott, Hyatt, and other chains have openly signaled their intention to permanently hike profits by making daily room cleaning an exception rather than the norm at all but their highest end properties." Chris Nassetta, the CEO of Hilton, bragged on an earnings call in February that the company would squeeze most of its brands. Hilton has 18 of them, including DoubleTree, Embassy Suites, Hampton, and True, by, quote, "creating more labor efficiencies, particularly in the areas of housekeeping, food and beverage, and other areas." And see, this is sort of where they lose me, right? Because as a customer, I have no problem with reduced services, especially if they're clear about it, they're honest about it, and they're transparent about it. They have to tell me the reason why. At the same time, they have to, if they're charging me the same rates but reducing services because they want to make more margin, I have a problem with that too. And I get that, listen, hotel chains had a really bad time during the pandemic shutdowns, right? I understand that they have to do what they can to recover some of that money. But if you appear to be recovering it at the expense of your customers, especially customers who happen to be members of your loyalty programs, that's not necessarily a smart thing to do. Listen, it's important to be customer focused. The hotels that differentiate themselves by focusing relentlessly on the customers and not taking advantage of them, I think in the long run, and it may be the long run, those are the ones that'll be rewarded. And this applies to hospitality companies and it applies to retail companies. Starting with the customer has to be a core tenet of any business that deals with customers on a regular basis. And if you're not starting with the customer, well, it may end up being more than just the hotel breakfast that ends up disappearing. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.